Hey.
Hi.
Are you okay?
Just kind of stressed out.
Yeah? Why?
Thinking about society and all the things wrong with it.
Anything in particular?
What are your thoughts on gender-neutral bathrooms? Bathrooms that aren't separated by men and women. The ones in our own homes are gender-neutral. Why should the ones outside of our homes be any different?
Nah.
Why?
It's just the way things are. It's practical.
But imagine being a mother who has to send her son to the men's bathroom alone, or a boy who can't use the bathroom at school because every time he does, he's relentlessly teased about being attracted to the same sex, or a girl who stands waiting in line while a bunch of boys and men walk in and out just a couple doors down. I'm sure you've experienced inconveniences in your own life, right? Like at one point or another, women have to wait in long lines, parents have to send their children or elders into the opposite bathroom, men's and women's bathrooms are often across the hall or even across the building from each other. It's not practical, it's kind of ridiculous.
I guess, but there's no reason they need to change. It shouldn't be a priority. Like, there's a lot of other things to be stressed out about in the world, right?
It is easy to overlook this, think that there are more important things going on, but this issue, it's bigger than bathrooms. Every time somebody doesn't fit the gender binary has to use a bathroom, they have to not only make a choice, but then face the risks and the judgment that awaits them in both bathrooms. By dividing restrooms into like two categories, we're kind of not only like being rude to everybody else, but ignoring their existence.
They should just use the restroom that aligns with what's between their legs, you know?
That's a common argument.
But it's just not that simple.
And would you really want someone who looked like a boy and identified as a boy walking into the girls' bathroom? Would that make you any less uncomfortable? Does it really bother you when someone who looks like a girl and identifies as a girl uses the girls' bathroom? More people are questioned for using the right bathroom than they are for using the wrong one. Did you know laws are being passed to fine or jail those who use the wrong bathroom?
Sounds good to me. I don't see a problem with it.
No, this encourages citizens to actively judge the appearance of others based only on appearance and gender stereotypes. How would you feel if you walked into the bathroom or you were in the middle of using a bathroom and someone came up to question you about your gender and forced you to prove your biological sex?
I guess I wouldn't like it, but it wouldn't happen to me.
So you shouldn't care about
That's
the
not
issue?
fair. That's not what I meant. I'm just saying that I would be following the rules, and everyone else should too. Plus, what if men started dressing up as women, claiming to be transgender just so that they could get into the women's restrooms and harass people?
It's important to address and talk about the fears that you have and to be open and honest about them, but I kind of
You're
feel
not
like
arguing just to let people in whatever restroom they want. You're arguing to make all bathrooms gender neutral.
look, if someone harasses people, whether or not they're claiming to be a woman, it's still against the law. They'd still be held accountable. And if a predator is trying to hurt someone, they'll usually wait until it's isolated, and then if it's isolated, they won't need to look like a woman to get into the bathroom. They're not going to be stopped by an unlocked door. It's an uncomfortable topic, but women's bathrooms aren't really the safe haven that people often see them as. People should have a right to privacy no matter what their gender is. All bathrooms should be safer. I feel like that's a whole nother issue.
Girls and women are a bigger demographic than the LGBT community.
That's true.
Their safety is important too. We're both women. You should understand the risks and the challenges that we face.
I agree, but this would help everyone, including women, not just...
Okay, but if anyone could walk into any bathroom, there will be more sexual harassment and violence.
Actually, it's easy to make that assumption, but we have no reason to make it. The worry is that gender-neutral bathrooms offer more opportunities for a woman to be isolated with a man, right? But if anything, these bathrooms would be more intimidating to predators because they're less isolated and they're more public. Compare that to this. There's a study done by the UCLA's Williams Institute. It found that 70% of transgender people have experienced verbal harassment in segregated bathrooms and 10% have experienced physical assault. That's a lot of people. Sorry. Are you crying over bathrooms? It's just so ridiculous and it's so emotional and it's so sad. It's hard for me not to get a little emotional about it. It doesn't even affect you. Like I said, it's not just about the bathroom. I mean, you're not. I'm not transgender, but I'm a human, and they're humans. We're all humans. Just like me, just like you, just like those who are transgender. We all have so much in common. Gender is just one piece of everybody. Transgender people are like totally vilified when in reality they're the victims. Did you know more homicide victims were transgender in 2015 than in any year previously recorded?
Oh my god, really?
The suicide attempt rate among the transgender community is 41%. Yeah, it's horrible. And a lot of bullying occurs in bathrooms, not just transgender people, the rest of the LGBT community. Or kids who, even if they identify clearly as a boy or a girl, and even if they have the matching genitals, they're still perceived to look a different way. And this would really help. Look, I guess it would help some people, but we've been doing it like this for a reason. But what reason? I don't know, it's just reason. There has to be a reason that things are the way they are. Yeah, well, I have looked into it a little bit, and it turns out that bathrooms used to be either gender neutral or specific to men. And in the fight for more equality, we ended up with more bathrooms specific to women instead of less bathrooms specific to men. Weird. I guess that does almost seem like a mistake. Yeah, it's totally illogical. Okay, but aren't men's and women's bathrooms different? Not really. There's urinals, I guess. Oh, men's bathrooms tend to be dirtier, but get this, gender-neutral bathrooms so far actually offer increased levels of cleanliness and better hygiene, probably due to a better sense or stronger sense of like a public shared space. And then some argue that a certain culture can exist in women's restrooms, like the girls have conversations or they touch up their makeup or whatever, but people will adjust. These are little things. And who says we can't have that kind of atmosphere in a bathroom where everybody is, people will adjust. Will they? I think so. It's a big change, but it's gonna happen eventually, so people will have to adjust eventually. Who is it? Catherine Ripley in the Huffington Post had a really good thing that she said. Let me think. She said, the sole purpose of separating men's and women's bathrooms is to preserve a sense of social order. The reality is that when you start putting your socks and your underwear into the same drawer, the dresser doesn't fall apart, and pretty soon you'll forget that you ever felt like you needed to separate them. I think that's a cool way to put it.
Wouldn't it be expensive?
You really just have to take down the signs.
Huh.
I mean, admittedly, there would be some work in like rewriting some of the regulations and some of the rules and laws and like codes and stuff, and some cost in making sure the bathrooms are like totally safe so that it addresses all the fears that people have. But it really wouldn't be that big of a deal to change once we decide to change it. I feel like the biggest obstacle right now is just getting everyone to agree. It's so obvious to me, and I just struggle with the fact that so many people are so strongly against it, and it seems like after you put a little bit of work in to do the research and think about it, they're more convenient, and they're more fair, and they're safer, and they're cleaner for everybody. It just seems like a good idea to me, and it seems like an important one. I feel like the proven benefits outweigh the perceived risks by a whole lot. Honestly, I'm still a little uncomfortable with the idea of sharing a bathroom with guys, with everyone. Like, I know people are getting bullied and stuff, like you said, but I still think the vast majority of the population would be more uncomfortable with this change, not less. Yeah, well, it's so ingrained in our brains, you know? But I truly do believe that the discomfort will fade as people become used to a new standard, a new normal. And the difference is that the risks and the inequality and the judgment that people face every day, the stuff that's perpetuated and caused by our current bathroom system, that's not gonna just fade, you know? I guess if a portion of people feel uncomfortable, that still seems like a better deal than a portion of people getting bullied and having to choose between two sides of the spectrum every time they need to pee, even if the second portion is much smaller. Yeah, I still don't know. And like I said, it's not just about the bathrooms, you know? It's about creating a safer and more equal and less segregated world for ourselves and for future generations. And, you know, we have the responsibility to continue reaching for a better world for everyone, don't you think? Rather than just continuing in our current ways simply because we've grown used to them. You know, you've got a point, okay? But I've got some good points too, I think, and I don't know if I agree with you. Well, thank you for listening. And thanks for watching. Check out the links in the doobly-doo for more resources and information, and don't forget to leave a comment with your own thoughts in a respectful and civilized manner.